Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lebanon Board of Works meeting for June 8th, 2020. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Rebecca McClure. Here. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes? Would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. There a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. On to department head reports. First up is Police Department. Chief Morgan.
Good evening, Board. In the last 2 weeks, Lebanon Police Department has responded to 599 calls for service. We've made 15 arrests, 3 for domestic battery, 8 for operating while intoxicated, 2 on warrants, 1 on possession of meth, and 1 for intimidation. In that same time, we've done 32 handgun carry permits. We sent them off to the state for the final approval. On June 5th, we had firearms training where our officers worked on transitions from patrol rifles to pistols, and then all officers did a qualification course with their rifles. We are continuing to get as much training online as we can during the COVID, trying to take advantage of not being able to go anywhere for training, so we're trying to do it online. That way when this is all over with, we don't have to take officers off the road to go someplace for training. All of our officers who tested positive for COVID-19 are back except for 1 officer, and we're waiting for his results, which should be back tomorrow or Wednesday, and we assume he's going to be negative at that point. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Chief Morgan. Any questions from the board?
No.
Okay, any questions from the public in attendance? Okay. Also, for those watching at home, we do have a text line available that's open for comment. So if you want to call that, the number is 765-335-2230. And Joe will just give me the high sign if we get something on that line. So feel free to even participate from home as well. Next up will be Fire Department, Chief Betts.
Good evening, everyone. Very short report this evening. Since the last Board of Works meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 132 emergency calls of service, logged 305 training hours, performed 39 site inspections, and installed 2 car seats. We've had to tweak our inspection division a little bit during these interesting times. So we're doing site inspections, exterior buildings, addressing, making sure that they're currently in business, without actually going into the business. Didn't feel like the first person the public needed to see was a fire inspector when they reopened, so we put our internal inspections off until late January. Now we're still doing new construction and things of that nature, so we're doing site inspections. Throughout the month of May, the crews participated in low-angle rescue training at the trailhead at Sam Ralston Road. We got several phone calls of what's going on. The training focused on rope operation with mechanical advantage. Engineer Tyler Aguirre will be completing his state certification and driver pump operator, and this will go on through the month of June. I would like to applaud many of our firefighters who were taking state certification classics during all of this, and classes were turned over to WebEx online format. They've been very vigilant getting through it, and now the classes are starting to reconvene. So they were able to work through that and did a very nice job. Recruits Matt Need and Lane Beeler are now through their EMS portion of the Fire Academy. This week they start fire school, and they both are doing very, very well. They're at the Pike Township Fire Academy. We're getting very good marks for both of them, so happy with their progress. We'll be seeing the Fire Academy up here in Boone County at the Boone County Training Tower over the next several weeks. And I'd like to echo the sentiments of Chief Morgan. Lebanon Fire is COVID-19 free at the moment. We have everyone back to work, and we're happy to announce that. Just remaining vigilant, and we'll get through it.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the board? Anything from the public? Okay. Next, move on to Parks Department. John Messenger.
Good evening. Conservation Club is now open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays 8 to 6. Our playgrounds are about the only thing other than the water park that are closed. Playgrounds are closed until further notice. June 14th is to be determined is what the governor's guidelines say, so we'll let you know on the playgrounds. The water park is to open June 14th. However, the splash pad is open, so that's good news. That's open 7 days a week, and it is free, so that's always nice. Had some great week last week. We opened up our pickleball courts, our newly renovated pickleball courts and tennis court at Abner Longley and Memorial Park. Mayor was there, and he played some ball. He's got some game, I guess. That's what I hear. Sticking with that, we're also right now giving lessons for people that would like to learn how to play pickleball. That's Tuesdays and Thursday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. at Memorial Park. We had 22 that were out there this last week, so for any age group, I recommend it. Get some exercise, but it's also fun. I think I've seen those courts filled more than I've ever seen them before. We've had, all 8 of them at Memorial Park and several at Abner Longley. So it's a big hit, and we're going to start some leagues. As we progress through all this COVID stuff, we'll move on and on. But Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9, we can supply you with rackets and balls too. So come without anything, just come with some game like the mayor there, and we'll be all right. Seriously, if you want to learn, it's a great time to learn. We started up a program tonight, a tennis program with Let's Go Sports. Started this evening. It'll be Monday evening through July 13th. It's through another group and just small groups, and it's a really nice way to learn how to play tennis. So looking forward to that. We have yoga in the park with Indiana Yoga Studio. That's Wednesday evenings from 5:30 to 6:30, and Friday mornings from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Friday evenings and Friday evenings also at 6 p.m. Our swim lessons start up June 16th through the 26th, about full with those. Also July 13th through the 24th, morning and evening sessions. We can't have any more than 10 children in a group, so sign up because they're about filled both June and July. Co-ed softball starts up June 14th. There again, we could probably use 2 more teams. We have 6, which is pretty good, but we'd really like to have 8 ideally or more. A lot of people aren't signing up, obviously, because of the situation we're in. But if you can, get in there real quick because we're firing up the season. Memorial Park's 100th year celebration is Friday, August 7th. We're going to have a band. We have night swimming for the first time. Fireworks at Memorial Park and the baseball diamond, if any of you remember that. Pretty neat deal. And we'll have our famous hot dog cart and grill there. We also tentatively, hoping that all this goes through the school, we'll be doing the having the daddy-daughter dance, tentative date of Saturday, August 29th from 6 to 9. There again, all depends on what goes down, but we're hoping to get that in. That's the daddy-daughter dance that can't wait to have. August 29th from 6 to 9 at the high school. Just call for any details. A couple projects that we're wrapping up too are Dick Robertson was out there today looking over our restroom maintenance addition and asphalt. Looks really good. We have a walkthrough on Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning. It looks like we got a little ways to go. I think Dick will tell you that. One of the workers fell through the ceiling last Friday. He's not hurt, but the bathroom did some damage there, which they're going to have to repair some of that stuff. I want to thank the police and the fire for their quick attention to several destructive children out there or kids. We had a restroom that was kicked in at Memorial Park. The doors, that was last Sunday at about 5:15. We have them on camera. The police are working on that now. And then this last Sunday, the following Sunday from the one before, somebody set it on fire. So that's at 5:15 with people. They were identified right away with people there, but Police were right on it, and the fire department was right there to put it out. We've had quite a bit of vandalism. I just want to tell anybody out there, we aren't going to accept it, and we will prosecute to the fullest on any of that. It's very disheartening to see that. I know that it's troubled times, but we will, to the fullest degree. There again, I had to mention that. I hate to mention the vandalism, but it is part of it, and we've had quite a bit of it this spring. And nice to see the bike patrols out there with the police. They were out all weekend, and I've seen them at several times throughout the day, and they're taking walks, but can't be everywhere at once. I get that, but they're doing an outstanding job to take care of it. A couple other things, putting mulch at the playground and putting some adult fitness equipment right around, and that might see some cones out there. We're installing those. It's pretty neat. Row machine, Dick said he can't wait to get out there and get on all the equipment. Matt, you remember last year when the guy donated all that equipment? Finally getting installed. Really nice, hardy equipment. It should be up by next week, we'll see. Had a couple nice donations too, some metal benches that we're trying to replace the wooden ones with. And I'll tell you at a later date what the memorial excuse me, is for that. But anyway, quite a bit of progress and moving right along. And I had a car show this last weekend. Very successful, stayed under the 100, whatever we were supposed to stay under. I think there was about 75, but it was very nice to see people out and keeping social distancing. We'll still be doing that on through the 4th. Even when we open the pool, there will be social distancing rules. Our new website, we're waiting on a couple more things from our IT department. They're working at it very hard. Been on it about 3 weeks, but it's real close to opening up. I think you can get in Seashore Water Park, and thanks to Joe LePage for helping us out with that too. He's taken over, and I greatly appreciate his hard work. And Mr. Stoner got us a new truck, so we have a new park truck, and keep that social distancing now helps us out a lot. Other than guys walking from park to park, but no, seriously, we do appreciate that. And that's all I had.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the board? Anything from the public?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, sir. Next up, Engineering Department, Kim Krulik.
Good evening. Well, good to be back in front of everybody here once again. I've got a lot to share with you tonight, so I apologize. This might be a little bit of a lengthy report, but I'll try to go quickly. Downtown projects, obviously those are primarily wrapped up at this point. We're working on resolving a lighting issue on Meridian Street and on 39 where we had the incorrect light shipped to us, but we're working with the manufacturers trying to get that corrected. Unfortunately, there's going to be some lead time before we can get those lights on, but we hope to see that later in the year. Other things are about complete at this point. Some new trees were replaced last week. These are tree warranty replacements that are going on. We also walked the West Main Street area with the contractors. There's about 4 areas that we don't like the way it's draining real well, and so there's going to be some work done on the curbs in those areas to hopefully improve the drainage. That work we don't have a schedule on yet, but should be happening here shortly, weather permitting, of course. We're also in the process, we have now final pay applications in draft form, and pending the completion of those outstanding items I just mentioned, with the exception of the lighting that is outside of the contract, we should be ready to close out the project, I would anticipate within 30 days. Additional projects, Indianapolis Avenue is really wrapped up at this point with the exception of seeding and sodding. Been told the contractors will be back this week to get some of those areas cleaned up and finish up that work. So I'm confident in saying within the next 2 weeks we should be able to button up everything there, get the miscellaneous construction, debris, and materials cleaned up, get the final sod and seeding in place, and call that project done. Pavement resurfacing, been a lot of our community crossing work going on this spring. Earlier than usual, but that was a good thing. Helped us to take advantage of the lower traffic volumes that we've seen through the coronavirus issue. So all the streets have been resurfaced that were on the list. All the ADA ramps have been replaced. The landscaping, the backfilling and seeding behind the curb ramps, that's all complete. Manhole adjustments started last week. It'll probably run for another 2 weeks or so as they reset all the manhole castings in concrete. And then we are coordinating striping, just waiting on a confirmation from the striping subcontractor on when they'll be here. So those streets that it's appropriate for striping, like Sam Ralston Road, those are going to be restriped, and as well as some of our other primary streets throughout the city that are receiving those treatments. Also happy to report the resurfacing project. We're anticipated of finishing up about $450,000 under budget. A lot of that is contingency line items that we just didn't have to take advantage of. We did not have to do almost any deep patching, and so that was the bulk of that savings. So we should be about $450,000 under budget. We will have to give some of that money back to the state. Remember, this is a 50-50 project through the Community Crossing Program. So essentially, they gave us about $800,000 of the total $1.6 million roughly that the project was going to cost. And of that $450,000, about $250,000 of that will have to be paid back to the state. But that's still going to leave us money ahead. We were anticipating as we started the year having about $325,000 to spend on miscellaneous street projects, other street projects that aren't funded through community crossings, and so that's going to put roughly another $200,000 in the coffers there for that work. So still have a lot of opportunity to do the striping projects, to fix some intersections, do patching, and things of that nature. So still a lot going on, and given the projections for MVH and LRS funding, we'll probably just monitor that carefully, try to keep some of that budget back towards the end of the year once we have a better understanding of where financing is going to shake itself out for next year and beyond. But we're going to be in good shape. State Road 32 resurfacing. This is not a local project, but obviously it's affecting a lot of us, so I wanted to give everybody an update there. This is hot off the presses from the contractor's schedule that was delivered to me this morning. Lots of stuff going on. Remind everyone, this is a sidewalk ramp replacement project. It's also a asphalt milling and resurfacing along with some deep patching. It's not a full street reconstruction. Sidewalk ramps really started around the 26th and will probably last through about the 26th of this month. The I-65 bridge resurfacing is scheduled to be resurfaced on June 16th through the 18th. Asphalt patching is actually started already and will run really through mid-August. Asphalt milling of line A, which is, if I could maybe show you this might add some clarity here. Here we go. So in the area marked in red, that's what the NDOT specifications refer to as line A. So line A is scheduled for milling on the 22nd through the 24th. And then for surfacing on the 23rd through the 26th of June. Lines B, C, and D, the yellow, green, and blue areas, that is going to be in August, late August, the 19th through the 24th. That will be milled and resurfaced at the same time. And then that will follow up with the electrical work for the stoplights and various crossing signals that have to be updated. And then that will follow up with striping that should wrap up sometime the first week of September. Again, it's not a city project. We're not involved in really any way from an oversight, funding, or operations standpoint, but I do want to give everybody an update as I know it's affecting our residents and our business owners. Sidewalk replacement programs, lots going on there, especially with our active living our cost share programs. We've got about 9 applications in for the cost share program, amounting to about $40,000 in sidewalk replacements. The letters have all been sent out regarding the 50% commitment from the owners, and those funds are already coming back, and we'll look to be be starting that work in the next few days and going through the next month on those programs. We're also, keep in mind, looking at non-cost share programs. These are active living programs to add sidewalks on Lafayette Avenue, Witt Road, and Riley Road. We're nearing the end of our sort of negotiations with the owners there on right-of-way dedications. So hopefully we'll be able to wrap that up, I would say, in the next 60 days and be able to start those sidewalks and have that in hopefully in early fall. Witt Road is one of those areas where we're working on sidewalks, but we're also working on the Witt Road Bridge. We've completed all of our survey work, all of our wetland delineations, all of our geotechnical investigations and reporting. We've also filed our Waters of the U.S. reports. It's likely that that ditch, Small Reynolds Ditch, will be considered a Waters of the U.S., even though it's a man-made ditch. It most likely historically was a creek at one point. So the federal jurisdictions will come into play there, but we're not too worried about that for the project that we are proposing. We're expecting to have preliminary plans to share with everyone around June 19th, and we are still expected to be on budget of around $800,000 for that bridge.
I'm sorry, you kind of trailed off. What did you say for construction on that bridge?
$800,000.
Okay.
We don't know yet exactly what the state's going to do on the community crossing program. We're hoping to submit that for community crossings with the July call, if that indeed happens. And if it does, then we would hope that we would have 50% participation on that project. Again, looking for 2021 construction.
Okay. So no construction this year, it'd be for next year.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have final plans available sometime this fall. By then, we would know about the community crossing award. We can make a decision then at that time as a council and administration whether we're going to move forward with that, but we would want to bid it in around the November, December time to get it fitted into a nice sweet spot between NDOT lettings and be ready for construction in the spring of next year.
Okay.
Big Four Trail expansion, nothing really to report here. Obviously, we were disappointed that the COVID-19 crisis has pulled the next level trails funding. No word yet on if that will be reinstated at some point in the future, but we'll keep everybody posted. Grant Street, we will be opening bids here later for the storm sewer outlet associated with that. And again, nothing else really to report on that. We're still, remind everyone, we're on a letting schedule of July of 2022 with a 2023 construction schedule. We've also been working with the state to expand that project and to go ahead with Phase 2, which would be Grant Street from Washington Street south to Indianapolis Avenue or State Road 32. The state has approved that expansion. Obviously, that will need to be locally funded, and we're working through those funding strategies right now before we would make a final decision on whether that project is a go. But we are examining the possibility of basically fast-tracking Phase 2 for 2023 or 24 construction as well, depending on how we want to work with the maintenance of traffic during that construction period. Also on that side of town, Fordyce Road, we're working through the drainage designs. According to that with Grant Street, we should have preliminary plans for Fordyce Road later this week. Survey work has been completed. I remind you, we have expanded that project to at least extend the trail all the way over to the East Street Trail so that we've got a good trail network exiting the city on what we think is a corridor that's going to see a lot of development in the coming years. It's one thing that's not slowed down during COVID is home building. The home building industry is, in fact, I still would say, experiencing a little bit of a boom at this time. So it's a good thing. I want to give you an update on the Lebanon Bike Park. We've been progressing with our concept plan development. I think we're on basically our third version. We've been working with our environmental consultants and some mass earthwork exercises on that to be prepared to go in for environmental permitting later this summer. Again, these are all projects that were already previously funded. We would anticipate, though, the project would be delayed from a construction standpoint until funding should become available. One of the things I wanted to update everyone is logo development. So we developed 4 logo options. I'll put these on the screen. These were put out onto social media. for voting purposes, just to get some feedback from the community. We developed two with the sort of generic name of Lebanon Bike Park, and then we were also looking at capitalize on a local land feature, which is Prairie Creek, which is immediately adjacent to the park. And we put these out on social media just to see how the public would react. Overwhelmingly, our votes were for option 3, the Prairie Creek Bike Park there in the gold and black. However, though, we received several comments from the mountain biking community, particularly the Hoosier Mountain Biking Association and the International Mountain Bike Association chapter located in Indiana, that let us know that there is already a Prairie Creek Mountain Bike Park under development in the Muncie area. So they were suggesting we not use Prairie Creek. So we went back to the drawing board and started looking at that. We also were a little nervous of using Lebanon Bike Park because there is a Lebanon, Ohio with a Lebanon Bike Park, mountain bike park in Lebanon, Ohio. So again, we started looking at the regional draw and wanted something that was really going to stand out. Went back through the drawing board, looking at land features, looking at geography, looking at historical information for this area. One of the things I found that was very interesting was an extensive Native American history for really the whole northern part of Boone County. The northwestern quadrant of Boone County was at one time an actual Indian reservation centered around Thorntown, which Thorntown is derived from a Native American name. It was originally the place of thorns. One name that came to mind as we were doing this was an Indian chief by the name of Stone Eater. Obviously, that name seems to fit well when we're talking about mountain bike trails and mountain bike racing and things of that nature. So we became pretty excited of that. We immediately tried to get more information on this. Chief Stone Eater was a chief of the Wea tribe. He was the war chief under the Tecumseh Federation. He was very involved in the War of 1812, the Battle of Tippecanoe, the siege at Fort Harrison. He was also a signer of several key armistice and treaty agreements on a national level. So he's an important historical figure, and we found no parks or bike parks or anything else of that nature named after him. And since the name really fits well with mountain biking, we reached out to the Wea tribe of Indiana as well as the federally recognized Peoria tribe, which encompasses the Wea people as well. Happy to report that the Wea tribe of Indiana took this to their tribal council and voted overwhelmingly to offer their support in using the name of Chief Stone Eater in the bike park name. So more work to come here as we develop the park, but as of right now, I guess this is the first official announcement that we are planning to call this Stone Eater Bike Park. We've further then since been developing a series of logos that ultimately will go into marketing, fundraising, and informational materials about the park. As you can see, this is sort of the family of logos that we've developed. I think you can see it all sort of fits within the Lebanon logo family. So we've got the Stone Eater Bike Park. We've got more of a location logo so we can tell people where we're at because of the regional aspect of the project. And then paying homage to Chief Stone Eater, as well as then just some other family of logos that will be used throughout the development. So with that, that's where the bike park stands at this point. As I said, we'll be looking to go in the next couple of weeks to IDEM to begin the adaptive reuse permitting for the landfill. Again, we've had more conversations with IDEM. They're still giving us the thumbs up, the green light to move forward with this, and they've given us a lot of positive feedback on the direction we're going. Sorry, I have a few more. Regional detention, the upper detention pond and the lower and middle detention ponds. We're still working with our consultants, Christopher Burke. Nothing really new to report here, but we're working with them as well as our legal counsel on tentative land acquisition agreements associated with those projects, and hopefully we'll have something more productive to report here in the coming month. Sunbrook and Sunbrook Villas, happy to report that all the sanitary sewer is in the ground now for Sunbrook Phase 1, and we are now releasing building permits. And then we're also expecting Sunbrook Villas to take off on construction later this summer, as well as we are on the second round of revisions on Sunbrook Section 2. So they're already pulling plans to build the next section of Sunbrook, so, which is a good thing. Ben may be reporting on this in a little bit, so I don't hate to steal his thunder, but we're well ahead of schedule, like with the Riley Ridge development and Auburn Meadows, the last phase of that. Those are essentially built out where there's no more than, 10 home sites currently available. So we need to bring on some more inventory as soon as we can, so we're excited about these commitments for additional projects. Gateway Marketplace, just one quick note that Moe's Southwest Grill has passed their final inspection, so that will be opening soon here. We don't have a definitive date, but they've passed all the hurdles on our end, and I know they're moving furniture into the place as we speak. The road impact study, the city council will vote on this later tonight for a resolution for an additional funding appropriation to finish off that study. And I want to remind everyone that once that is official, we do need your support on developing an advisory committee that is required by the state of Indiana as we begin to develop that ordinance. The committee obviously will be appointed by the mayor, so please let the mayor and myself know if you have interest in serving. It can be composed of no less than 5 members with a maximum of 10. And we would anticipate that 40% of the membership needs to also represent the development, building, real estate communities as well. So if you're not interested but know someone who may be and fits that mark, please let us know. And I would anticipate no more than 4 meetings over the next 3 to 4 months is what that commitment will be. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. You did negotiate a lot, but I appreciate the updates. A lot of good projects going on.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up, Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, Board. Kevin did cover a couple items on my list. I guess that means I can be brief for you. Planning Department has remained pretty active. Certainly, we slowed down a little bit in activity over the last couple months, but it has quickly picked back up, so that's a good sign. Residential activity remains very strong. We did another 45 building inspections over the last couple weeks. We're still averaging, 4 to 6 inspections a day, which is really strong. Issued another 40 permits, including 9 single-family home permits over the last couple weeks. A little more than half of those are for Sunbrook neighborhood. They're starting to pull permits out there, so that's a good sign as they get under construction there. So we'll just continue to monitor over the next month or so just to see if the activity remains strong. Did have a conversation recently with a residential home contractor who said that in the Indy market is one of the few markets where activity has been up year over year while we're in the middle of a pandemic. So we're not sure why that is, but the Indianapolis market has remained strong. So that's a good sign for us moving forward. In terms of code enforcement, we have ramped activities back up now that we're back in the office for the last couple of weeks. So Makeda has been out. A lot of trash and debris complaints that she's addressing, a lot of grass and weed complaints that as you can expect that she's addressing. A lot of those we're really getting through the process and getting a lot of those cleaned up. I know our contractor's been out, had their first round of properties have had to cut for us last week, I believe, so we're starting to get a lot of those addressed. In terms of anything else going on, we are still collecting resumes for our positions. I'm hoping to ramp back up on some interviews this month or later this month for the few that we have. So if anybody is interested in looking at those positions, we do have an assistant planner, code enforcement position, and also a building inspector position. So they are still posted on the city's website if anyone wants to look at the requirements for the positions and instructions on how to apply for that. And hopefully, like I said, we'll be doing some interviews here in the next few weeks for those and get those filled since activity remains strong. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions from the board?
I got one. Ben, is Auburn Meadows out there on Elm Swamp Road, are they thinking about opening up another section?
Yeah, I know Section 3, they've had construction plans in. We're working through a couple items with them. I know they're working on item on a couple items to get them ready to go, but we're hopeful we'll get those plans approved fairly quickly and get them under construction. They're they're essentially out of lots in section 2.
Yeah, it
So-
looks good.
Yeah.
I drive around a lot, and then subdivisions look around, see what they're doing, and that one in Riley Ridge out there looks really nice as
For
well.
sure.
so.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
hopeful
so it's-
section 3 will be ready very quickly.
And it seems like everybody all of a sudden has started building, because I went to Noblesville today, and I was cutting through Westfield there on 32, and like it wasn't but 2 weeks ago, nothing was happening there west of town. Now there's bulldozers everywhere, and everything's cutting everywhere, and it's like, wow. In a week's time, they're just like dried up, it's time to go to work, so.
I went through Riley Ridge doing some final inspections. I'd had about 20 final site inspections to do, but there's probably 10, 12 lots that are under construction right now out there, right,
Yeah.
as we speak.
Not very
So
many left, is there?
there's less than 10 lots left.
Yeah.
So they pulled their first permit last April, so just a little over, we're about 14 months now, and they've got less than 10 lots left in an 86 lot neighborhood, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, good. Looks good.
Any other questions? Anything for the public? Okay, thank you, Ben. Street and Stormwater Department, no Dave new with us. Kevin, do you have that by chance, or no? We can come back to you. Next up then is Communications, Community Development, Joe Page.
Good evening, everyone, spatially distanced. Good. Some exciting news from the Communications and Community Development Department, most specifically the Communications Department. Had our first training session with Chad over at DevLab Creative to be able to educate me on being able to make QuickTime decisions and updates to our city website. And so there were some things that we want to be able to act more quickly on, and so being able to work with Chad to help us through that. You'll see a lot of some of the stories have changed as early as today, as well as how we will be laying out our agendas and the pertinent documentation that goes along with the agendas, and the kind of in the vein of transparency. You'll see those if you click on our calendar. There'll be the meeting invite, or the meeting the meetings that are taking place then, and then taking a look at the agendas and also supplementary information along with that. So we look forward to continuing to add to that, our website going forward. Weather permitting, our second Lebanon City Market will take place tomorrow. We've been working with the County Health Department in the heart of Lebanon to be able to adhere to social distancing guidelines, and so having hand sanitizing stations, being able to have our vendors space themselves out. And so working with both the County Health Department and, like I said, the heart of Lebanon, to be able to do that. Some really exciting vendors this year. We haven't be able to have everyone, because only essential items are allowed to vend at this time. So we had 8 vendors the first time around. We have more than double that. They're looking forward to taking advantage of our market and being able to be vendors there once COVID-19, Lord willing, becomes a thing of the past, instead of working so much in the present with that. Just touch base with the folks from NDOT this morning. We are inching at a glacial pace, ever closer to being able to get permission to be adding a mural under the overpass of I-65 along the Big Four Trail. And so that's more the slow-moving news. The lower-hanging fruit, the quicker news, is our work with CSX. And so we met with the Lebanon Youth Council earlier today, along with Historic Preservation and Derek Warren, who's liaison with the Historic Preservation and the City of Lebanon, about helping the Lebanon Youth Council maybe incorporate one of their mural ideas under one of those CSX overpasses. We have permission to add murals to 5 of those within our city, and so looking forward to adding some more color, diversity, fun, artistic nature within our community, and so really looking forward to that. Also, we're adding more of our videos. We mentioned that the Ryan Homes, also our spring cleanup that got delayed a little bit thanks to the coronavirus, but also the pickleball opening, as John mentioned, with the Parks Department, adding more of those videos you'll see on our website, and also our social media platforms and our public access channel as well.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? No. Okay, appreciate it. Kevin, do you have the report? Yes?
I have not received a report.
Okay.
I just checked in today, but I don't have a report.
All right, no, that's fine. We'll get them next time. All right, that concludes department head reports. Let's move on to old business then. I don't have anything on the agenda from me. Anything from the board? Okay, move on to new business then. First item up is a request for alley closure at 308 North Park Street. Alex Cruz.
Good evening, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. As the Mayor said, I would like to close a portion of a street near my house. Not a street, an alley. I've got a graphic here. I don't know. So that's Central and their parking lot. IGA over here, Eastwood Apartments or whatever they're called now. And my house is right on this little street, Park Street, and an alley that goes back here. Little bigger close up. There's not a whole lot of room. No street parking really over here. It's taken up by all the neighbors. I have 2 trees in front of my house. And there is, this is a quadplex. I think they got 4 units in there. So they got people to park there and right there. And this is a barber, kind of barber and styling. But of course they've got the traffic parks in front. They've also got the parking lot back here. No one is really dependent on this entire alley, and I would like to close it as soon as you would permit me through August 15. But as far as the actual closure, I mean, it would only be that portion from the street to the back of my garage. So from there to about there. And this alley back here has a side alley here, a side alley here, it goes all the way through there. So, and then it goes back through here. So the most impact it would have would be on Cutouts Barber and Salmon Salon, but they can still get to their parking lot back here. And the tenant right here would have to use that, but I see them every day. That's not a problem for them to get to. And like I said, I would like to be able to use that alley for lay down for materials and a dumpster. We're going to knock off this entire portion of what I call the back house. At some point, it's kind of turned into an apartment unit or something, and floors are warped, and it just needs knocked off and rebuilt. But it's 20 by 25 or so, and there's just this little bitty grass patch right here that would really only be any lay down area other than my driveway, and still need a place for me to park occasionally. So we'll just ask for permission to close from there to there so that I can use primarily this area to drop materials and a dumpster.
So have you spoken with the barber or the hair salon there?
I have not yet done that. I want to give them notice that I will do that. There might be a closure.
Okay. So this is a little bit longer than what I thought than what we're talking about here. More than that, I mean, I think you explained it very well. I think it's definitely justified. But I would really like if you could have a conversation with them, make sure they don't have. Make sure we're all good for neighbors, and then I think we can move forward with that, if that's okay.
It was about a week ago that I got notice of this meeting, and I was really busy the last week, so.
I understand completely.
We'll get out and talk to them.
Yep, so if you talk, and we'll come back and we'll look at it again for you, okay?
When's the next meeting?
What about the neighbor to the north? Does he use that alley for any reason?
Right here?
I can't see it now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the neighbor to the north, yeah, does that neighbor there use the alley for any reason?
Harley, we're in good relations with them too. They park right there. So, may just come and go off that street.
So are you looking the idea of a permanent closure or just a
Temporary.
temporary closure?
I think it's just
while
during
you
construction,
do
yeah.
building?
Just like we have some area for, I mean, shoot, actually don't even really have a place for the contractors to park, to be honest. There's no room.
Oh, hey, I can make sure you're talking the mic for us, Alex.
Nope,
Thanks.
sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, standing over it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there's no room for them to even park unless they're going to park around the corner and then interrupt everybody else's parking.
So they don't have parking off the alley, is what you're saying either?
I mean, who knows, they might have to park a vehicle or two over there to, just so they don't have to walk, 100 yards to their work truck.
Right.
Is there any utility lines there, utility poles?
There's a utility pole right back here, and I think that's just a light pole with a bunch of cable, TV service, internet service that strings from there to my house and there, and they're served from a pole back here, so that's one pole, but yeah, I don't have any utility poles here on the street. And the only one I think is actually right down here.
Okay. So our next meeting will be June 22nd, so we'll put you on the agenda for that, so if you could have a conversation, that'd be great, and we'll get you approved then, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Alex. All right, next up is request for street closure, 522 Powell Street, Life Journey Church.
Good evening. I'm Ken Gritton. I'm the pastor of Life's Journey Church on Powell Street, and we would like to organize a farmer's market, call it Powell Street Farmer's Market, from 9 to 12 on Saturday mornings, starting the latter part of this month, going through September if it's popular. And our purpose is to encourage the local residents to get involved in something in their community. We realize there is a farmer's market downtown, and that's a good thing, but this would be something that we would try to encourage the local residents to be a part of with their baked goods or cookies or what they grow in their gardens. And we would need to barricade the north-south alley that runs past Life Journey Church. Just the part that goes past the church, not the complete alleyway. And we would do that from 9 to 12 on Saturday morning if we could get permission to do that. So.
And so just so I'm oriented right, because you don't own on both sides of the alley, correct? Or just
No, we're on one side, the community theater's on
Okay.
the other side.
Okay. And are they comfortable with that? I mean, they're not busy Saturday mornings, right?
We have a really good working relationship with them. I haven't touched base with them on that.
Okay.
If they had any objection at all, we just wouldn't do it.
Okay.
But I don't expect any problem, because they have the same desire that we have as far as improving the relationship with the people in that community, so.
Okay. So this is for the alley, not exactly for Powell Street either. And what's the street north there of Powell Street? I don't have this on my map here. Stoltz Street?
Yes.
I'm not that familiar with the
Stoltz
streets.
Street, Powell Street, yeah.
Okay. All right, so Saturday mornings, 9 to 12, and you want to start this weekend?
We would like to start the 20th if possible.
Starting the 20th of June?
Yes.
Okay. And then run that through?
Through September.
Through September, okay. Okay. Any questions or concerns from the board?
Is that actually, is that an alley?
Yes, it is an alleyway. It goes north, south, east,
Yeah.
and west.
The street, that street or whatever that is to the north of it, is that an alley as well?
The area he's talking about is actually King
King Street, okay.
Looks like an alley, but it is
It's a street.
a private street.
Just a very narrow road. Okay. Any other questions from the board? I think it's great to organize a small neighborhood farmer's market. I think it's a great idea. I don't have any concerns with it. If there's anything from the board, would entertain a motion for approving the alley closure for the alley between Powell and King Street on Saturday mornings from June 20th through September from 9 to 12 a.m.
Yes.
Or 9 a.m. to noon. How about that? Sorry. So there's a motion. Would we like to make that motion? You can just say so moved. I know that's kind of wordy. Unless someone has a problem with the closure?
Is police and fire okay with it?
Yeah,
Thumbs
I see a
up?
thumbs up
Okay.
from both.
They're good with it?
I'll make a
I'll make a motion to close the street at 522 Powell Street, the alleyway, between 9 and 12 on Saturday mornings, between June 20th and, 1st of September? Is that good?
Through September.
Through September?
Yeah, I mean, if the popularity would decrease, we would just stop doing it, so.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Good luck with your farmers market, Ken. Hope it brings the neighborhood together.
Very good, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next up is bid opening for the Grant Street project, the William Street Sewer Outlet, and we have Kevin Krulik to open the bids.
Thank you. I mentioned this before. This is the storm sewer outlet for the future Grant Street project. We were just getting out of the way to coordinate with some proposed county projects on the William Street Bridge. I have 5 bid packages that were all received today before the 3 p.m. deadline. So with that, I will begin opening. First bid package, in no particular order, is from Midwest Mole.
Midwest who?
You said
Midwest Mole,
Mole.
M-O-L-E.
Okay.
Let's see, we will qualify all bids after the fact, but the bid proposal form is attached, and the addendum 1 has been acknowledged, and the total is for $158,399.00. So that is Midwest Mole for $158,399. Second bid package is from Conexco, C-O-N-E-X-C-O. Proposal form indicates $131,430. Again, it's a bid from Conexco for $131,430. Next package is from J.R. Bowling LLC. Based on their proposal form, I see $108,643.50. Again, this is from J.R. Bowling, B-O-W-L-I-N-G, LLC, for $108,643.50. Next one is from Morphe Construction, Morphey. Their proposal indicates $218,000. So again, for Morphe Construction, Morphey, 218000.
Is that, did you say you had 4?
What's that?
You had 5, you have one more?
I have one more.
Okay.
Last one.
I thought you said 5.
Sorry, this one is from Calumet Civil Contractors. And theirs is for $128,000 even. Again, Calumet Civil Contractors, 128000. So it would appear the lowest apparent bidder is J.R. Bowling LLC. But we will evaluate the bid packages, consult with legal counsel, and be back at your next meeting with a recommendation for award.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up is, we're going where, Kevin? Change order 2020 street resurfacing projects, Grant Street driveway approaches.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor issue, but on Grant Street, north of Fordyce, as we got into the resurfacing project that included that area of Grant Street, we noticed that all of the, the majority of the driveways had asphalt ramps at the ends of the driveway. That was not included in the original bid package. So we asked the contractor to do that work, and the work would be associated with a change order. The total on this change order would be $3,128.35, and that is to Grady Brothers Incorporated, again, associated with our 2020 street resurfacing.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin on the change order?
Kevin, is that putting asphalt back in the curb and gutter?
Exactly.
Okay. Any concerns? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve, is this change order number 1?
Yes.
Entertain a motion to approve change order number 1 for the 2020 resurfacing, street resurfacing projects.
Move to approve change order number 1.
We have a motion to approve change order number 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those approved, or those opposed?
Aye.
Why are you opposed, Dick? Just
I'm
to,
opposing.
you're opposed, you said?
Yeah.
Why are you opposed to that?
I don't like putting asphalt in curbs.
Gotcha, okay. All right, we have, the majority is, change order is approved. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Anything else from the board? Okay, would move on to the claims, and would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. And would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be June 22nd at 6:15 PM. That's the second meeting of the month, so with the later start time. And then the redevelopment commission is up next.